Eagles Nation. Let me get my mic on. Yo, what up? This is Bry with Eagles Real Talk. Thank you for joining me today. I am the flyest covering the Eagles on YouTube, and this is Game Day Live. Eagles versus the Titans. If you're in the group chat, let me know your height for this one. Birds are 10-1. We are going up against a formidable foe on the run again this week. It seems like every week, over the past month or so, we've been, going up against an elite or close to elite, run attack on the other end. And this week is no different. Possibly our biggest test of the year, going up against Derrick King Henry. If you know anything about King Henry, not only is he big, not only is he strong, but he's fast as well. Last week he broke one out, but he wasn't able to score. He fumbled it. They caught him from the back, and he fumbled it on the 4 or 5 yard line. But nonetheless, this is a serious test for the Birds. What's up, Axe of Bray and Brax? What's up? This is going to be a serious test for our defense. We're going to see what Jonathan Gannon is made of on defense, if he's able to, stop the run. I think the past couple times he's, went up against Jonathan Allen and, certain running backs. I thought he's done well. I thought he came prepared for the most part. We're going up against Tannehill. He's not much of a passer. He's older now. He can affect the game with his legs if you let him, but he's not much of a runner anymore. Boots the Cat. I hope Jordan Davis returning will help us. Definitely will help us. I'll get more into that in just a moment. But Tannehill, he's a player that he can get hot. We just can't let him get hot. On the other end, they have Treylon Burks, who's a rookie, who's playing solid. He's not blowing anybody's socks off, but he's playing solid. And then they also have Woods as well, Robert Woods, who's, a solid wide receiver option. But let's get back to, Jordan Davis, like Boots the Cat in the chat. Boots and the Cat in the chat. Let's see, how Jordan Davis will come and affect the game. How he went out and he got, what did he get? He got Linval Joseph and he got Ndamukong Suh, and they've been performing admirably. Honestly, I've honestly been really, really happy. I wasn't sure, these are two guys coming off the couch. I was more, ready for, Suh to come in and be productive, but Joseph has been very active. It looks like sitting out, those weeks prior, most of the season. I think he came in fresh. I'll keep my eyes on him today as far as how his legs look, because like I said, he is an older player. He didn't play most of the season, so it's just close to monitor. Speaking of the D-line, I seen Bray and Brax put Eagles D-line. So the D-line, all we're missing is Robert Quinn, who, he hasn't done much. I know people have been, basically down on Robert Quinn in that trade, but I still feel like Robert Quinn is going to make an impact play that is gonna, be very beneficial for us sometime in the future, maybe in the playoffs. He's actually been close on a couple sacks coming around the edge. He hasn't been, stellar. He hasn't made a sack yet since joining the Birds. But with that said, I thought he's been active. I thought he was close to a couple strip sacks, but he just hasn't been able to get to the quarterback. So maybe, taking this week off, get a little healthy. Maybe he'll come back next week and he'll get his first sack of his Eagles career. Glaciers. Compact Glaciers wrote, "Fly Eagles, fly on the road to victory." EAGLES, Eagles, and I think we will be flying high on the road to victory. Another W. I think we'll be 11-1 after today. My score prediction for the game, and drop your prediction in the comment. I have us winning this. I feel like the defense I feel like the defense is going to take care of business. I feel for the most part that they on offense besides Henry. If we lose to them, it'd be tough because how could Robert Woods, beat Slay all day? How could, Traylon Burks, a rookie, how could he, get past Bradbury and the crew? So, Josiah Scott, he's always a liability out there, but I'm not too impressed with their side of the ball as far as their wide receiver options. So I think Josiah Scott and the secondary will do just fine today. I'm expecting at least 2 interceptions by Tannehill. I would love to see a pick 6 by Slay. He's due up. He's due up for a pick 6. Reed Blankenship, he stepped in last week and played his butt off. I think, he did get beat. He underestimated that tackle, that angle that he took, and he did get beat for a touchdown last week by Watson, I believe it was. But that's to be expected. He's a rookie, as long as he comes in and for the most part makes his tackles, can be disruptive in the pass game. If a ball is headed his way, I think he'll be just fine, especially today. Let's go to the chat. I hope the Jets beat the Vikings so the fans will shut their mouths. I agree. I agree with you, Boots the Cat. I agree with you, Boots the Cat in the chat, because if they lose this week, then, we'll have a little bit more distance from them, as far as the standings go. And that's only good for the Birds. The bigger distance we have from the number 2 seed, the better we all feel as fans, because what do we want? What is the main objective of the regular season? And that's to get the number 1 seed. And we're this close. We are this close, but we have some tough divisional matchups ahead of us. I have us going 15-2, if not 16-1, depending on how we play that last game against the Giants, depending if we end up resting some guys or whatnot. But regardless, I have us getting that top seed. Axa Bray, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, no, Jalen Hurts is going to ball out today. I'm sorry, excuse me. I just getting so used to these primetime games. I always feel like we're going to play at night. Is it just me, or have we played a lot of primetime games this year? I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying it feels like we played a lot of primetime games. Maybe they knew we would be the best, most exciting team to watch this year. And yeah, I said it. We're the best, most exciting team because why? Whenever we go up, they don't know how we're gonna beat them. They don't know how we're gonna, attack the opposing defense. Whether we're gonna beat them on the ground or in the air, or a combination of both. I feel like watching the Eagles, it's a mystery every week. Even though we do have a true identity, and that's obviously ground and pound. Let's get to the chat. I got us going 14-3. Okay, so you have us dropping a couple games. That's reasonable. I'm thinking 16-1-1. That tie, who are we going to tie to? Who are we going to tie to? Let me know. Vikings are going to fall to 12-5. That seems reasonable to me as well. I feel like they're an indoor team. I feel like once they get outdoors in the cold, I feel like they're going to have a couple bad games, especially Kirk. Even though he has played in the cold in Washington before, I feel like that team isn't built necessarily for cold weather games, especially the defense. The defense, I feel like the defense is kind of soft, if you ask me. Jalen beats Vic running the ball. Man, that's close for me. And that's a big debate. You see the jersey in the background. Obviously, I'm a big Mike Vick fan. I'll say this, as far as comparing them. Jalen Hurts is very efficient running the ball. He is very, very, very efficient. And he also doesn't take the hits that Vic would take during his career, especially with the Birds. He took some brutal hits with the Eagles, and I feel like that definitely took a toll on his body, took some years off of his career. But with that said, Mike Vick is the most exciting football player to ever touch the turf, bro. And that's just my opinion. He's the most exciting player I've ever watched play the football. And hold on, my mic. He's the most exciting player I've ever seen, on the turf. So with that said, I will give Jalen this. He is more effective and more efficient than Vic, barely. But Vic was the more exciting, the greatest player I've ever seen run the ball. That's just hands down. He's the most fun player I've ever watched play football. Honestly, Jalen. Okay, tying against the Giants. Okay, so if we tied against the Giants, I'd be sad, man. I'd be sad. I think I'd rather take an L to the Giants, man. I don't know. Actually, you know what? That just didn't even sound good coming out of my mouth, bro. We gonna beat the Giants the last game of the season, go 16-1. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Giants are overhyped. Overhyped is. I feel you. The Giants definitely are overhyped. I actually have them finishing in 9-8, so I have them nosediving from here on out. We'll see. I just feel like, they had some good luck in their favor, during the first half of the season, and the second half is going to be a completely different story. So first Giants game. So we play Giants, I believe, is it next week that we play the Giants? Regardless, Giants or the Bears next. I'm on this week. You know what I mean? The Giants, I'm not too worried about them. I think a lot of people, just like you said in the chat, were overhyping them. I feel like they definitely got put on a pedestal way too early. I feel like, the new coach was getting a lot of love, which, is it's fine. He was being recognized as turning the team around, but I feel like long term, this team wasn't built for success. I have them 10-7. Giants, yeah, 10-7, 9-8. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. We aren't losing to the Giants with a healthy team. I agree with you. Boots the Cat. Braxton Bray, we beat Giants both times. I agree with you. It just depends. That last game of the season, if we rest our guys. But honestly, even if we rest our guys and we rest Jalen, I feel like Gardner Minshew will come in and dice up, whatever. But it's just more the secondary at that point. Even though the Giants don't have nobody as far as wide receivers, our secondary, if we have Josiah Scott leading the crew, it's a little, that's a little dicey. Cowboys are legit. No, Cowboys are legit, but we beat them before. I feel like Stoutland, the offensive line coach, had a great game plan, to go up against their defensive line and, to, not necessarily shut down Parsons because he's still going to be active. But I feel like we contained him very well. And he wasn't able to make a super big impact on the game. I don't think he sacked Hurts. So I feel like if we go in with the right game plan, the Cowboys and their defense won't be as effective as they are on other teams. But I agree with you. They are a real threat. But at this point, all we got to do is take care of business. I feel like they're going to drop a couple games as well. Dak doesn't have the best track record in cold weather. So I feel like, going down the stretch, they're going to drop a game or two, and I feel like they're going to finish, 13 wins, somewhere around there. I don't think the Cowboys are as good as some might say. Boots the Cat, Jets, Bengals, Chiefs, Bills in the AFC. What are my thoughts? I think the Jets are a tough team, actually. I feel like they can play upset. Upset to some teams out there in the AFC, especially if they get in the playoffs, which I think they will. Bengals, I feel like the Bengals, I didn't think the Bengals were going to do too well with Jamar Chase out, but Burrows came around. He's kind of turned around. I feel like the first 4 games he didn't look right. I feel like the Bengals in general didn't look right, but their run game is starting to go with Mixon. Even though Mixon's dealing with a concussion, they slid in P. Ryan, and P. Ryan has been balling out of control. I wish I would have picked him up on my fantasy because I do have Mixon in one of my leagues. But, I feel like the Bengals are a tough team, and once they get into the playoffs with that run game, with Jamar Chase, Higgins, Boyd, they're a tough team to beat, They're continuing, to slide up instead of trend down. So I feel like the Bengals are tough. Chiefs, I feel like the Chiefs are overrated. I also feel like if you shut down Travis Kelce, it's hard for the Chiefs to win. I'm not really impressed by their wide receivers or their running back room. Patrick Mahomes, he's thrown 8 interceptions this year. 2, one against the Colts to lose the game, 1 against the Bills to lose the game. 2 game-losing interceptions. I feel like he's had slightly overrated season as well. And I have Jalen Hurts winning the MVP. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me on that. Bills, I have the Bills. The Bills are an interesting team. I think it depends on health at this point. I originally had Eagles versus the Bills in the Super Bowl, but now I'm kind of leaning towards the Dolphins. Dolphins have a tough team. Tua has not lost. If he started the game and finished it, he's 8-0 this year. That's pretty damn impressive. With that said, I have Jalen Hurts MVP. I have Tua second place in the running, and I have, I guess, Mahomes third. But honestly, I just feel like Mahomes is kind of overrated. That's just me. Just this year, I feel like he's had a solid year, but 2 game-losing interceptions. I mean, it's not talked about enough. If Jalen had 2 game-losing interceptions, right? 2, he would be getting dragged. You know what I mean? Nobody would ever let it go, but Mahomes somehow gets a pass. But we can talk about that another day. I have a MVP video coming out on Tuesday, so make sure to check that out. The comments, the Vikings have a negative point differential all season. Okay, so like I said, I think the Vikings are a bit overrated. I feel like they just have one of those teams that is just soft in the trenches. But let me know in the comments how you feel about the Vikings. I'd be interested to know exactly how you guys feel about the Vikings, because they have 2 big losses. One to us, 28-7. We smoked them on Monday night, and then also they have a really brutal loss to the Cowboys. So it is what it is. Eagles beat the Cowboys 40-17. That would be nice on Christmas Eve. That would be a great early Christmas present. The Eagles will beat the Cowboys 40-17. Yes. I would love that. I don't necessarily agree with it, but man, that would be the Christmas Eve massacre in Dallas. I'm here for it. Trust me, I am here for it. It just kind of depends. We're gonna have our guy Dallas back, so we'll have Dallas back in Dallas. I think that's going to make a huge difference. But we did lose CJ last game. He's dealing with the kidney issue, and he's out for at least 4 games. So that could impact, the Dallas game slightly. That it just depends on how Blankenship is integrated into the defense. Last week, I think he did solid by just stepping up. This week, he'll be more involved in the game plan, so I feel like he'll be fine back there. But still, having CJ out, it's not the best. I think he had a pick against Dallas as well. So we will probably have OBJ and Gronk. I don't agree with you on that, Glaciers. I don't think we're going to be adding a guy like OBJ. To be honest with you, if OBJ is so good, man, if he's so nice and this and that, coming off an ACL injury, why hasn't he been picked up yet? Answer me this, Answer why he is not on a team yet. I don't think he's necessarily able to choose which team he wanted to play for, because if he was able to choose, then why hasn't he chosen anybody yet? I think maybe his ACL and his conditioning, maybe playing a factor on why teams aren't signing him, honestly, because why hasn't he been signed yet? It's kind of getting, a little weird. We're in week 13. I'm pretty sure he was eligible to play, weeks ago. He is looking at the Eagles. That's a rumor. I don't think that rumor is necessarily true, because it doesn't really look like we would add and disrupt our offense at this point. Yeah, AJ has had a couple down weeks per se, but at the end of the day, he's still A.J. Brown. He's a number 1 receiver. Throwing OBJ onto the roster would kind of make things a little murky as far as who's the number 1 option. There will be a whole bunch of talk. I don't think we're going to go that route this year. And then also Gronk. I don't think Gronk is coming out of retirement, man. I don't think he would come out of retirement just to play for the Eagles, especially with us having Dallas Goedert already on the team, and he's about to be healthy next week. So I don't see us making any crazy splash signings like that in the remaining free agent pool that's out there. And also, I think Rob is. I think he's good retired. I feel like if he was to come back, he would come back and play with his man Brady. That's his. Obviously, that's been his guy for his whole career. That's gonna do it for me today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. Eagles Real Talk. I am Bry. I am the flyest covering the Eagles on YouTube. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Get down with ERT. I appreciate you guys in the chat. I have us winning 34-20, man. So it should be a pretty easy dub for us. I feel like we're gonna, contain the run over there, and we're gonna get out of this game, hopefully, healthy as possible. And, we're going to fly over to 10-1. And then from here on out, we have some divisional games, which will be definitely interesting going forward. But with that said, just like Glacier said in the chat, go Birds, fly Eagles fly, keep it real always. I'll catch you guys after the game. Peace out.